Welcome to Not Your Average Cinema. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're doing our first movie review on our channel. And believe it or not, the movie that we watched was Flight Risk, which we would have probably never guessed. Our first review on this channel would be a bald Marky Mark movie.
I would have never dreamt it in a million years.
But yeah, this was the first one went to in a theater in 2025. It's only an hour and a half, so not too long of a movie. But yeah, if you've seen the trailer, it's a movie about a flight risk, uh, and Mark Wahlberg, maybe the man that's risky. But we are gonna maybe do things a little differently, and we're just gonna go straight into our scores first, and then talk about kind of the pros and the cons that we thought about the movie. Um, but yeah, I'll start. I'm coming in with a 5.5 out of 10. Uh, it it was kind of, I'd say it's one you could probably watch on streaming versus going to the movie theater to see. It it ended up being the dud part of hoping this might be a hidden gem kind of movie for me.
Yeah. I'm coming in a good bit higher. I'm giving this 7.5 to maybe an 8. I'd say I was cautious about this film. I thought this has potential to be terrible, and I found myself satisfied with what I wanted from that trailer. And I would recommend if you saw the trailer and even if you had some concerns or drawn in by the idea, I would say to check it out. Whether it is on theater or streaming, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I think the trailer gives a pretty good idea of what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see the tomato meter. The critics are not loving this one, but the general audience is liking it a little bit more. And it's not quite how that works, but you can tell Pepper's a little higher than the audience. I'm probably a little lower than the
Voice of
average
the
audience.
people. Uh,
Wow.
yes, we let's talk. Let's stay positive for a little while here. Let's move into the good aspects of the film that we could kind of agree on to put into this list here. And the top one here, not really in order, but the characters in this one, particularly Mark Wahlberg, being charismatic as ever, even though I guess. It's going to contain probably some slight spoilers. We're going to walk around it. You can maybe catch like the overall feel of what happens in the movie from what we say, so be wary of that. He plays a pretty straightforward evil guy, and he goes kind of all out on that, and I think he's entertaining in the process. And then the other standout, I would say, is Topher Grace as kind of this prisoner being transported, this criminal being transported in being a very humorous character and always kind of cracking jokes, even if it's a dire situation. He's always got one more left in him. I thought he was wildly entertaining and the surprise of the movie, and I would say the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, he's definitely the highlight character of the movie for me as well. I think he had by far, not even close, the best character arc in the whole
Oh, yeah.
movie. So yeah, those two were both very good characters in what they were doing, top notch. But yeah, then we get into the situation of being on a plane, and I thought they did a pretty good job of using what they could with what they had, the situation they had. Small kind of cargo. Is it even a cargo plane? I don't know what kind of plane it's considered,
Like
but
a
just a
personal
smaller
plane
one.
type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, where and only kind of three main characters in the plane. But yeah, a smaller space, and I think they did a pretty good job, kind of making you feel like, oh, what would I do in this situation if I was Topher in this situation, or even the female cop as well. Uh, how would I react to try to get control of the situation? If I was in, I guess I don't see myself in Mark Wahlberg's shoes, but I don't know. I guess maybe there's some people out there that would want to see themselves in that, but that'd be pretty crazy. Uh, so yeah, and then I guess that kind of goes in with kind of the action as well. Some of the scenes where we get some more, some fight scenes and stuff. I think they utilize the space again very well and kind of have some nice fun action sequences when they are there. Uh, I think it does a very good job at showing that, and then even like some shots from outside the plane as well, showing sort of actiony kind of stuff. I think it works there as well at some
Yeah.
points in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And talking of kind of those outside shots, the cinematography and everything like that, I thought was very well done as well. Nothing like unique or groundbreaking, but I was never thinking like this just doesn't look good. I was never catching myself looking at that. It looks good. The CGI that they have, I didn't notice anything bad, and some of the shots, definitely outside of the plane, some of those action shots near the end, I would say, were actually really cool for me. So I think the style is also a thumbs up. I mean, it should be. This from Mel Gibson. He should have good style. But yeah, then
Yes.
that's the good here, and I think I probably am more satisfied by what it gives in the good, and you maybe it's drawn down a little more strongly by what's in the bad,
Mhm.
and in the bad, take it away with this subplot slash other characters in the movie.
Yes, and this is where it could get maybe a little more spoilery, but yeah, there's some other characters mainly involved with the kind of female officer in there, and uh, I think her performance is probably maybe not considered bad, but she's probably drugged down a little bit by all the other characters she's communicating with on the kind of ground level. And yeah, there's some bigger subplot kind of relating to what's happening and why it's happening in the plane and stuff, but it kind of tries to go even like a level above where it really, I think, should be. Um, and the I don't know, the characters that she communicates with, all their dialogue, I think is for me pretty terrible. There's one that's fine, and then there's two other ones that it's just awful dialogue that I think is what it's trying to do is get you to question kind of who's on whose side here or who could potentially be a bad person who isn't. But I don't know. I think they played it a little too hard, where I couldn't really try to make my own decisions based on kind of the information given, just because I think they were trying too hard to make it like, oh, you can't trust anybody. It didn't really give you a reason why I should trust one person more than another or less than another.
Yeah, it
So,
never really felt natural. I didn't feel I could buy
no.
into those characters. I just was like, let's get back to the business on the plane. That's all I care about.
Yeah, and I think it's hard too because you never really saw those characters. You
Yeah,
did see one at the end, but otherwise, you never saw them, so it's like very difficult to have any read because
yeah,
all you're hearing is a voice. So,
yeah, that's true. And then the unbelievability of the film, and a lot of films do this where there's convenient things that happen, or characters make stupid decisions that let the plot stay exciting throughout the film instead of just resolving in the first 20 minutes. I would say the characters aren't the most stupid in this one. I don't know if I think it relies a little more on conveniences of the plane moving in a certain way, allowing a character to get loose from restraints or something like that, versus the character actually being stupid. I think they were competent enough, but
yeah,
um, definitely some of the things in the movie. It's like it's a really grounded concept of a movie. Feels like something that could happen in real life, but then when you really take a step back and you're like, would any of this really happen? Probably not.
yeah, yeah. And I think this one was probably the point for me that was I was it was a little bit more a little bit much for me more than it was for you maybe. Just a few too many times where it was just you're really trying to get me to stretch here. Because usually I'm willing to go a little bit, but then yeah, it to me it felt like it was a little too much. But yeah, and then also for me, I didn't feel like the ending wasn't like awful, but I wasn't like fully satisfied with the ending. There were a few kind of loose ends that I would have liked to see a little bit more of a resolution with them. And yeah, I would say one of the characters. I did like the end to one of the characters, which is good. But outside of that, the other ones, it's just kind of leaves you like, I don't know, made me feel like, oh, this could maybe be the end of if it was like a television show and this was like an episode and it was leading to the next episode. That's kind of how it felt like it left me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that a little bit. I wasn't too bothered by the ending. It felt it felt pretty obvious. It didn't surprise me. It didn't wow
Yeah,
me.
yeah, I would
So,
agree. But yeah, going back, so I gave it a 5.5. Pepper gave it more of a 7.5 to possibly 8. So we're kind of mixed on it. But yeah, that's what we have about it. Let us know in the comments below if you've seen this one, what your thoughts are. And yeah, if you have any constructive criticism on how we should do these in the future, if you liked any of this, if you didn't like any of it, let us know. We're definitely open to change. We are not rock solid on how we're going to do these in the future. But yeah, subscribe if you want to see future reviews. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on that popcorn.